Hey everyone, welcome into March of 1991. It's pouring rain this morning. Looks like it's going to rain all morning and not let up until this afternoon. So we're not going to get a whole lot done this morning other than get our cattle fed and get some milk hauled. So we'll go ahead and get the cattle fed first. Already, as you can tell, already have the feed wagon loaded. So we'll get them fed. Now everybody is doing very, very well in here. If we run out here and take a look, as you can see, we got a bunch of babies out here. So very happy with that. Everybody's doing very, very well. And we got a bunch of pregnant cows again. So that's good. And we have 5 bulls to get sold here in a couple of years as our fat cattle, so that's a good thing. And we have 5 females that we will be adding into our herd, so that's also a very good thing. That means our cattle herd is growing. Our chickens are doing wonderful. They're producing eggs, but you know, it is a small chicken coop. There's only 30 head in there, so they're not producing a remarkable amount of eggs here, but we'll go ahead and get hooked up to our milk trailer here, and then we can sell off some milk. So we have 910 gallons. So we will take this into the creamery. Probably should have gotten the 1586 out to stay dry, but at this point we're already soaking wet, so what's the point? But we'll run this into town, get this sold off, and as usual, check the price, see what we get, and adjust if we need to. Alright, we're down here at the creamery. We'll go ahead and get this sold off. And yeah, we're about $900 too much here, so we'll go ahead and pull $900 back, and that'll get us even to where we would be in March of 1992. All right, we got that 900 pulled back, so we're at 78,622. Pretty happy with that. Now, we did go ahead and sell all of our bales this winter that we could get sold off, and we also continued to sell milk throughout the winter and sell our eggs throughout the winter. So we did get a little income every month this winter, but it wasn't, obviously wasn't a whole lot. But it was enough to keep us going. We did go down a little bit, which is not a surprise. You know, we've got a little over $4,000 in mortgage every month. So until that mortgage is paid off, we're going to continue dipping throughout the winter months. But I do have some grain contracted coming up in April and in May. So we will have another, sale here coming up, and I'm very happy about that. So we'll get this back to the home place here, get it unhooked. And while it's raining, we just will run down to the co-op, pick up our toolbar and anhydrous tank, and get those drugged back home. Alright, well, the weather is finally shaped up, so we're going to go ahead and get our anhydrous tank turned on here. And we can get to putting on anhydrous. So I got 2 tanks this year, because I wasn't sure how much I was actually going to use this in this big field. So I got 2 just in case, but we'll drop this down and we'll get to applying some anhydrous. So we're doing a kind of a top dressing with the anhydrous to make sure we don't have any thin spots for our nitrogen, since we did slurry and manure last year. And I'm not entirely sure how much this field is actually going to take. It could be a lot, or it could just be, really only 1 tank. Since I haven't put anhydrous on this field yet, I genuinely don't know. But we'll go ahead and get this field knocked out here. Now I did, like I said, I grabbed 2 tanks. There's another one staged at the other side of the field. I wasn't really sure where I would need it, but I kind of figured it'd probably be down on that end if I did need it, so no big deal. We'll get this hammered out, and that should be pretty much it for the month of March. Now, I did forget that in the month of March, we get our payment for the CRP. So for the CRP or the tenure, whichever way you want to call it, it's 150% of the cash rate. And cash rental rate back in 1991 was about $50 an acre for this kind of land. So 150% of that is $75 an acre. And I figured it up to be close to 7.5 acres. It's about the same size as our alfalfa field. So that comes out to $563. So I went ahead and added that as our CRP payment for the year. And I definitely got to remember to keep that payment going, because I'm pretty sure I forgot to add that in last year. But no big deal. We'll live, and we'll go ahead and get this field finished, and I'll catch up with you guys when we're done. All right, finishing up this last pass, and one tank did do it. I was surprised. I didn't think it would. So that is our anhydrous complete. Very, very happy with that. We're going to run this back into the home place here, get it all cleaned up for the co-op, and then we'll get this taken back. All right, well, it is 4:30 in the afternoon, so that's about all we're going to get done today. I'm going to go ahead and get this toolbar and both tanks taken back, and we'll get the tank weighed and see how many tons of anhydrous we used and get that bill paid. All right, well, we got the tank all weighed up, and we used 6.7 tons, and it cost $1,541. So we'll head back here to the home place and get this tractor prepped and ready to plant next month. And also next month we have beans that we got to get sold. So we're going to have a pretty busy month next month in April, and I'm very excited for it. So I'll see you guys in April. All right, welcome into April in 1991. We're going to go ahead and start planting our soybeans first, get this small field knocked out, and then we can start the big field with the corn. So we'll get this thing fired up, drop down, and just like last time, we will be using our row marker as our guidance for planting, since it is 1991 and we don't have GPS on our equipment. But we'll get this soybean field hammered out quick, and then we can move on to our big field of corn, and I'm very excited for that corn. Now, we still have soybeans we need to sell this month. We have milk that needs to get sold this month yet, but I wanted to go ahead and get out here in the field right away. We have absolutely perfect planting conditions. It's 53 degrees, and I'm just too excited to get in the planter, so we're doing that first, and then we can jump out and start doing everything else we need to do this month. All right, we're finishing up this last pass here in the beans, and we're going to switch over to corn and get our cornfield planted. And with that, our beans are officially finished. So not going to have very many beans this year. Definitely a big discrepancy between the two fields, but for now, it's what we have. It's what we have, and have to deal with, so it'll work. All right, well, we got our planter switched over to corn here, so we're going to go ahead, fire it up, drop it down, and we're going to get to planting this field. So this field is definitely going to take a little while, but I'm very excited to see, what our yield is here come the fall. I'm very excited about the potential for the corn in this big field. But we'll get this field knocked out, and then we need to also get to spraying. Make sure we get our pre-emergence sprayed. All right, finishing up here, getting this field planted. Now, for some reason, I've got even worse coverage at the headland. So I'm going to do some terraforming and see if I can't get this field planted, finished planting. And then we're going to jump in the sprayer and get these fields sprayed. Well, terraforming worked, so I was able to finish planting that cornfield. I don't know why that was an issue, but hopefully it's not an issue moving forward. So now we're back on schedule. We're going to go ahead and get our field sprayed here. We'll get this sprayer fired up, and this field won't take very long at all, and then we can move on to the big field. And as some of you already know, I do like to spray as soon as I get done planting, treat it like it's a pre-emergence, and it guarantees that I never have weeds grow in the field. Now, that's not exactly how it works in reality, but for Farm Sim, that's how it works, so that's how we get her done. Alright, we got all of our fields sprayed. Everything went very well. I did have to buy another tote of herbicide, so that was $2,400. But that gave us enough to get all of our fields done. And I got our trailer loaded with beans. So we're going to take this down to the co-op and get this sold off. So I contracted the rest of our beans here for the month of April. And we got a little bit less than we did in December. I contracted them for $5.72 a bushel. So we'll run this down there, get these sold off, see what the base game gives us, and, adjust from there. I'm sure we're going to have to take quite a bit of money away. Seems to be par for the course anyway. But no big deal. I hope you're enjoying this. I know I most certainly am. I'm having a lot of fun, adjusting the price and getting it to, what it would have been back in 1991. All right, we're getting pulled in here. We'll go ahead and get this trailer unloaded and see what the base game gives us for price here. Yeah. That would be 8 times as much as we're supposed to have. So we had 750 bushels at $5.72 a bushel, comes out to $4,290. So we'll get that readjusted here and can head back home and reload because we have another load of beans we got to bring down today yet. All right, that's better. So we're at $73,800. Very happy with that. We'll head back, get our other load of beans. Now, it won't be a full load. It's going to be a little short, but still going to be, a pretty decent payday here. So we'll run back, get that, and bring it back down here. All right, we made it back down here. We're a little short of a full load. I've got 641 bushels on. So we'll go ahead and get this sold, and then we will adjust the price back down to the proper level for April of 1991. So that gets us up to $77,467. Very happy with that. We're finally starting to move in the right direction. It's been a long winter, but we did survive, so that's a very good thing. We'll take this back, get this. I'm going to go ahead and reload this with corn because we do have our corn contract next month in the month of May. So we'll need to get corn sold off next month. We'll also need to mow our alfalfa next month. I think I said earlier that we were going to do it this month, and that was wrong. We're definitely not doing that in April. We will do that in May. So we'll get that knocked down in May, get all of our baling done in May. So I think this is probably going to be it for the month of April. So I'll see you guys next month when we're ready to sell off our corn and mow our hay. Well, I lied. We're not done in April yet. I completely forgot we still had milk to sell. So I loaded up the trailer. We've got 940 gallons of milk on here. We're going to run this to the creamery, get it sold. So that's a pretty pleasant surprise. I completely forgot that we still had milk to sell, so it's nice. That means we're going to make a little more money than I had planned, and that's never a bad thing. Well, we made it down here to the creamery, so we'll get this sold off and adjust price if we need to. And we're about $400 too much, so honestly, pretty close. I'm not too disappointed with that, so we'll go ahead and get this adjusted. And I'll take $400 off, so we'll be perfect. Alright, so that puts us at $79,441. Very happy, cannot complain about that one bit. Always a pleasant surprise when you forget that you have something you need to get sold and make a little extra profit for the day. But now we are officially done with our April work, so I will see you guys in May when it's time to sell off our corn and get our hay mowed and raked and baled. Alright, welcome into May, everyone. We're going to start out by feeding our cattle this morning, and then we need to sell off our corn, and then we will worry about baling. It's a little cloudy this morning, a little damp, so we're going to let that alfalfa dry a bit before we knock it down, even though we're going to ted, and it, honestly probably doesn't matter. That's beside the point. And as you can see, we are very low on silage. It's May. I don't know that we're going to get through the rest of the year with the amount of silage that we have. This is not good. So we're going to be sitting just fine on bales. The problem is the cattle won't produce as much milk if they're only on hay. So that's going to take a hit, which means we're going to take a hit to our profit. And that's, never a good thing. So I don't even know if we're going to get this feed wagon completely full. It's going to be close. But that's my mistake. Another lesson learned. We'll make sure that we definitely chop more than enough silage this year to make sure that we don't ever have this problem again. Part of being a, new farmer is learning lessons like this. Oof. Well, we'll see if this will fill the feed wagon. It's got to be close. Normally I count how many buckets I put in, and this time I didn't. But we'll see if we need to, we can go grab a little dab more. Looks like we do need to grab a little bit more, and then we'll be topped off and we can head over and feed our cattle. So far our cattle are doing excellent. We've got some expecting mothers here coming up in the next few months, and that's always exciting. And a good way to keep our cattle producing milk, or keep our cows producing milk all year round. Since I do have the realistic livestock mod on, they only produce after they've had babies. So we don't want all of our cattle, cows having calves at the exact same time. We want them staggered out throughout the year to be more beneficial. So this is going to be our last load of TMR for our cattle. That's not good. But we do have 3 bales of hay left. We're going to bale some hay today, so they're not going to run out of feed. We're not going to have to worry about them dying. But their milk production will most likely slow down. And that's definitely going to be, an issue. Alright, well, while that's unloading, we can run around and take a look at our cattle. You can see we're sitting pretty good with milk, and we've definitely got more than enough straw and manure and, honestly, slurry. So everything's doing good there. See, we got some happy cows dancing around in the barn here. Got a new little baby there. Everybody is looking fantastic, and I love how they're not all the exact same cow. Their spots are different, get a different look, different size. That's absolutely wonderful. But now that we got these guys fed, I'll go ahead and get the feed wagon unhooked. We can hook up to our milk trailer and get our milk hauled. Make sure that I don't almost forget about this like I did last month. And then we can start get this unhooked again and hook it up to our mower and get our alfalfa mowed down. All right, I got the milk trailer loaded. We've got 636 gallons of milk on here. So a little bit short from last month, but we didn't deliver it until very late in the day last month, so they definitely produced more throughout the day as we went. So looks like we're not falling off too bad here for milk production. That's a good thing. So we'll get this run into the creamery, get it sold, and I don't know if we'll need to adjust price or not. Last time was pretty close. $400 over wasn't too bad. All right, we're down here at the creamery. We'll go ahead and get this milk sold off. And again, we're about $400 over. So I'll take 400 off and get us back to where we need to be. All right, so we're at $81,705. And I guess I didn't even think to mention, we got our garden back. It is May, so we've already produced some vegetables, got all of those sold, got our chicken eggs sold, so we're sitting very good. It's nice to have that income stream back. Help supplement the farm a little bit. But we'll head back and get the mower hooked up and start mowing our alfalfa and getting ready to ted and rake and bale. We got our mower hooked up. We're going to go ahead and get this field mowed here. And I'm sure it's going to yield pretty good. We didn't put down any more fertilizer, but we've got 1 level of fertilization and 2 levels of lime, if not 3 still. So it's still going to be a pretty good yield here. Well, we're just going to go around and around in circles until this field is completely mowed. And then we need to ted, rake, and bale. But that is going to be in the next episode. So if you guys like what you're seeing, please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode.